It is truly crazy times that we're living in, when what was generally accepted as unacceptable and degeneracy is now celebrated. One thing that really comes to mind is the over sexualization of oneself, doing OnlyFans, promiscuity. It's now seen as empowering, by some, that is. And one person can really think of that's truly guilty of not only encouraging that sort of behavior, but also being proud of his own degeneracy is Stephen Bunnell, aka Destiny, Twitch streamer and political commentator. Now, I do have to hand it to him because unlike political commentators such as Hassan Piker, from what I've seen, Destiny generally doesn't devolve into ad hominem attacks and screaming matches. He is willing to have educated, difficult debates, as he's gone on to debate people like Ben Shapiro, and in that same bucket, Tim Pool. He's gone on to debate abortion with pro-life activists Leela Rose and Kristen Hawkins, and recently went on Piers Morgan to have a heated conversation about Trump and Biden with conservative Benny Johnson and Dave Smith. And objectively speaking, he has had his moments where he's been able to hold his ground, despite having some questionable views. So in all sincerity, kudos to him on that. Now, having said that, he does have his share of vices, which I feel need to be called out as ways not to live your life. Because if you do not know who he is, for a rundown, he was for a long time in an open relationship with his now ex-wife Melina Goranson, something that the both of them have gone on to talk openly about.
So what is an open relationship, generally speaking? That means you have one main partner?
Non-monogamous relationship. Like you're somehow allowed, like in different ways, you can see other people sexually.
It's kind of like if you've got like a close friend, but then you've got other friends. Like, well, why is that one friend not enough? Yeah. Because in life, sometimes variety is fun. Sometimes I want to be with a girl that's Hispanic or Asian. Sometimes I want to be with somebody that is
marriage
into something
is
that's
not
slightly
a friendship.
I didn't say marriage was a friendship, but marriage to me isn't just about my dick going in her vagina. A lot of aspects to my marriage that I share with my wife that's really unique to my wife that I don't share with other people. My dick is not one of those things.
So I feel like it kind of helps like having an open relationship too, because you actually get to like taste the things that you're interested in that might not be like a relationship, you know, like you live with them or you want to have a future with them, right?
And it definitely seemed that they didn't value each other as people.
The longer you're with somebody, the better sex gets, so why is she not enough?
Why is she not enough? There's probably some woman out there that would be like a better match for me than Melina. There's probably some guy. Yeah. There's probably some.
And they were grilled repeatedly about it potentially causing problems.
Question it begs in my mind is, God forbid this happens, will it be fun if this open relationship ends up causing things to fall apart down the line if one of you guys finds yourself in an entanglement, so to speak, with somebody who you might find a deeper connection with than the other person? Like if that causes the relationship to fall apart, that probably wouldn't be very fun.
No, it would be horrible and it would be sad. But monogamous relationships have the same issue.
But is that sustainable?
Do you guys
hold on, wait, don't we have the longest relationship at this table so far?
You do, but
sure.
But like, do you guys have a high degree of confidence that your marriage will last for decades?
I mean, I married her without a prenup, so I hope so. Okay, or else this gonna be.
I'm curious.
Being able to exploit sex with other people is just a fun thing. If you're both okay with it, then that's how you want to do it.
History.
Yeah, but there's like
there's a lot of people with history that still cheat though.
There's
people will, like in marriage, people will likely find somebody else at some point in time during the marriage that they feel a stronger connection with. But through embodying virtue, like you can shut down that impulse. You can resist that temptation and stuff. And it's like, I don't know. I personally think that that's a better approach than entertaining it, because what if someday one of you guys runs into somebody that you have a better emotional connection with? Like, what would you do then?
Again, I understand the question, but like monogamous people have this exact same problem.
They do,
but
you can guard against
what you rely on,
with
virtue. But the guardian, in my opinion, is the history that you've built together, right?
And that history, quote unquote, that him and Melina shared turned out to mean nothing. As in December 2023, Destiny admitted on Discord that she left him for a supposedly toxic and abusive guy in Sweden who threatened to off himself. Now, all this ended in December of 2023, so it's pretty old. And a lot of you probably know about it already, but I bring this all back up again to illustrate how much he seemed to love every aspect of his open relationship up until the point it failed. And it doesn't take an expert in statistics to extrapolate that open relationships have a high probability of failure. Now, let me just say, how you choose to live your life is on you, and I can't stop any of it. But when you have a platform of hundreds and thousands of subscribers and are being polyamorous in front of everyone to see, that's when it becomes problematic. And you heard some of the pushback that the panel was giving him on that podcast. They were trying to steer it in the direction of leading a virtuous lifestyle, and he was pretty dismissive about it, which is pretty hypocritical to me, especially when you hear him talk about Andrew Tate.
Destiny, why do you hate Andrew Tate?
Why do I hate Andrew Tate? One is because I don't like the message he sells people. Two is because...
what's the message?
I wish that we could sell self-improvement without making everything so narrow in scope. Like, there are so many different paths to success. And to be fair, I've seen him give kind of contradictory messages on this. I saw him have a conversation with Sneeko, for instance, where he was very open about, like, it's not every man's life journey to become, like, the CEO of a major company. Some people need to be plumbers, whatever, which is good. But then in other videos, it always feels like the markers for success are the most materialistic, like, bankrupt, like, spiritually bankrupt things in the world.
Now, when it comes to Andrew Tate, I think some of his messaging is very good, such as the idea of embracing your masculinity. And I also think there's nothing inherently wrong with saying that some of the messaging of the manosphere, the red pill movement, and Andrew Tate himself does have its flaws and its issues. But for somebody like Destiny to criticize it the way that he does, and in that same podcast go on to talk about how OnlyFans can be empowering, is pretty hypocritical to me. Now, while Destiny doesn't say that everybody should be leading that lifestyle of going out and sleeping with a bunch of people, the case can be made that because he's coming up with justifications for it, that he's basically condoning it. Something that Candace Owens calls him out on his own stream in his own house.
In your mid-20s, you have a totally different feeling.
So if
like
a woman
it's like
is 25 or 30 and says, I don't think I want to have kids, I think I like my career, I'm going to stick with it, you'd say, okay, that's fine. It's your choice.
Yeah, as long as that person isn't trying to, and by the way, I think that person would probably be, it would be unusual. Like, it wouldn't be, the majority of women, I think, do want to have families and want to aspire to family, and that's fine. But when you try to create a brand of it and you say things like, oh, well, you know, if you have kids, then you can't just smoke pot and stay in bed and be naked all day. This is actually something that, like, Seth Rogen just said.
Okay.
What you're doing
Sounds
there is
awesome.
you're actually trying to, you're 30, how old are you? You're 35 years old.
Yep.
Okay, so what is that? What do I do? Like, if you were 20
let's
and
say
you were
I'm a
saying this
millionaire,
stuff,
I travel the world, I get to research and talk about whatever I want, I get to talk to cool people like you and other people, I live in Miami in a high rise for $5,000 a month. I mean, I think my life is pretty okay. I mean, what do you...
But I'm saying, like, what are you doing when you're trying to sell to people that, you know, being a hoe is cool, smoking pot, saying...
I don't necessarily think that being a hoe is cool.
Are you going to age out of that?
Because
you're a 35-year-old man, right?
Like, you know,
and you're kind of doing the, like, I'm a college dorm kid and I'm trying to make everything sound cool. But I just want to point out the fact that you're a 35-year-old man and your words should matter and they should have weight. Like, I said, if you were 20, I'd be like, I get it. When you're 35... You know, say things with conviction. Say things that have meaning.
Plenty of things with conviction, yes.
You know, and like you're acting like you're a college dorm kid.
Yeah, and your catty insults towards people online make you seem like a high school mean girl. Okay. I mean, like, what do you mean? Like, we all have our things.
But you're selling to them things that you know aren't good. So
what do you think I'm selling to them?
If you were a 25-year-old, like when I'm on the Whatever podcast and I'm surrounded by women that are in their 20s and they're saying, like, you know, the whole life is good. The reason why I said to that girl that I'm going to pray for you is because I know that she's going to have a different perspective when she's older. So I'm not upset by that. I don't feel like that needs to be attacked when those young girls are around me and we're talking about all of these topics. When I'm sitting with a 35-year-old man, okay, and
what do you think I'm selling people?
And you know better, okay?
Wait, what do you think I'm selling people?
Well,
do you think I'm telling people to be a hoe?
What I said when you were defending the lifestyle of being a hoe, why are you doing that?
I don't think I defend the lifestyle of being a hoe.
You did. You did a whole video basically saying that none of my points of me trying to tell these women that they essentially, you can do something better. You don't have to sell your body. This was your, like, snazzy video comeback to it. Why are you making a comeback? Yes, you can make a video and be like, why can't someone do heroin? But why would you as a 35-year-old man want to sell something to someone or make it seem okay or cool or relevant when you know it's harmful to them? I don't get that because of your age.
So, yeah, but
I don't tell people that they have to do a particular thing, but if I see somebody that's doing heroin, I'm not going to be like, you know, it is whatever, and it's just like whatever. You're just
do you think that heroin is comparable to recreational sex?
I am, quite frankly, I actually think a woman, as the one that I sat across from when you were critiquing this video, who says that she slept with up to, 20 men per night, yeah, it's just as bad. And I know that has to be hurting her soul. So I look at her as a human being.
Hurting her soul? What if she just has a different lifestyle than you?
Doesn't.
Completely. No, she does.
No, what do you mean? She's telling you, she was very honest, actually. And that's why I appreciate her, because she was very honest that for her, it is just about money. Okay. But when I see that individual, when a young woman is saying that she'll sleep and see up to 10 to 20 clients per night, that's a broken individual.
And they're broken
just as when you see somebody who says that, they're doing heroin or doing this, they don't need the cool guy at the party to be like, yeah, man, it's whatever. Like, it's like, no, you actually structure. You need somebody to say to you, you don't have to do this. There's so much better potential within you. You are young. You have your entire life ahead of you. Let's figure out what it is that you're great at. I understand the economic concerns. It's a really tough economy and it's easy money, but there's other things that you can do to make money that will give you better self-value. And so that's why I say that I think that what you're doing as a 35-year-old man is you're lying. You're just lying.
Do you think?
And here you just heard him downplaying the negative effects of that sort of behavior and trying to say that the ramifications are not comparable to that of doing heroin, which is the crux of my issues with his messaging, because I think we need to pay a lot of credence to the idea that there are long-term ramifications of living that sort of lifestyle, even if you only do it for a very short time when you're very young. And former adult film stars have described their experience with it.
I've lost my whole family and it sucks. So a lot of times when people ask me if they should do porn, I tell them no. I tell them that it makes life really hard. It makes dating really hard. It makes your family life really hard. It makes intimacy hard. You're putting yourself out there and the world is now judging you. You have to be okay with being shamed every day of your life. I don't even want to have children because I do porn, because I'm worried of the way that people will treat my child. With me personally, my mom was supportive in the beginning. She kind of just let me do whatever. Not that I think it was a good thing. I had a lot of freedom. As time progressed and I became successful, I started to feel like my mom was using me so that she could live a more luxurious lifestyle. When I started to set these boundaries, not giving her money or things like that, it made our relationship a bit more difficult and almost toxic. And so it sucks. I don't have a mom anymore. I don't talk to her. I miss having a mom. I feel like you can't rewind and you can't go back. I don't have that relationship with her anymore. I don't ever think I will. And that bums me out. Bums me out a lot. I talked to my dad and he struggles with my job being in the industry. He's also religious. Recently I wanted to go visit him and he said that I can't go visit because his wife, my stepmom, doesn't want me there. I'm not allowed to go visit my dad anymore because my stepmom doesn't like that I do porn. But then he told me that when I was like, can we go get coffee and we could go get breakfast? And he's like, I don't want to be seen in public with you. And that just hurt so bad. And it sucks. I lost my family. I don't talk to my brothers or sisters. I think that they all kind of try to take advantage of me and stuff, or they're just my dad don't want to be around me.
Now that was former adult film star Riley Reid, who's now 32 years old. And that clip highlights Candace's point to the letter, because she feels ostracized and shunned from her own family. And that's the same effect that being a drug addict can have. Now, is all of that fair? I don't know, and I wouldn't go out of my way to shame people who make those sort of decisions. At the same time, while I do feel for her, she does need to take responsibility for choices she made under her own volition. And I feel like stories like this need to be highlighted more, because they're being drowned out by the mainstream media, who's billing this as empowerment, people like Destiny. Now again, I do give him props for being able to have these sort of difficult conversations, but at the end of the day, we do need to be weary of people like Destiny, because they are a toxin for society. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to this channel, hopefully I've earned a subscription. Here's some videos for you to watch in the meantime. Until next time, peace out.